Hi, my name is Ashley Immanuel, co-founder and chief operating officer of Semicolon Africa. Semicolon is driving digital transformation in Africa by building tech-focused talent and businesses. We provide training, including for software engineers and corporate training. We have a team that can advise on and build tech solutions, and we work with early-stage startups. So I really had fun delivering my session. It was a great room, a great group. I was talking about learning and development in the context of really future talent. So I spoke about the transformation that's happening in the world and the really critical role that people in learning and development roles are going to play in preparing individuals and organizations to navigate that. I think that there's a lot of opportunity in that space. And so we spoke about a few things in particular. One is actually the important role that managers play and how learning and development teams can position our managers as effective coaches to drive growth in our workforces. Second was culture, because learning doesn't happen in an atmosphere of fear, for example. So we spoke a bit about how we can be deliberate in establishing cultures of psychological safety. And then third, really talked about how learning and development professionals can work together as an industry to really innovate around building skills in our workforces and our nation as a whole. So I think we always have to start with why, everything we do in life and in work. So first of all, learning and development professionals, just like managers and everybody in the company, need to have a really clear sense of what is the business objective, and then how can the workforce best achieve that objective, including in a very rapidly evolving context. So learning and development professionals have a really critical role, a challenge, but a lot of opportunity. I think that some of the things that they can do is, number one, really be strategic. So they always should kind of start with that why, with the strategy, not keep doing training because they did training last year, right? But think about what are the business outcomes and make sure that they're continually communicating as those evolve. And then, like I said, really being kind of holistic in thinking about learning and development. So if maybe 10% of learning and development happens in training, while training is very important, how do we support that other 90% of our people's learning and development in being as effective as possible? And that's where we're thinking about the culture, we're thinking about how are our managers doing, we're thinking about maybe innovating around building a better collective talent pool. I think that the role of team leads is critical. And in fact, I actually think that probably the most important thing, or one of the most important things a team lead or a manager actually does, is supporting the learning and development and growth of his or her people. So a lot of people, maybe especially when they're new in management roles, they tend to think of setting KPIs, making sure the team hits milestones, maybe chasing up or monitoring performance, and they don't think as much about being coaches. I would challenge our team leads and our managers to really adopt a coaching mindset. Sometimes you might need skills or support in doing this, and that's fine. There's training, there are books, there are resources. You can ask your learning and development team, if you have one in your company, to help you. But being a coach, for example, really sometimes it means you're asking more questions instead of telling people what to do. You're listening more than you're talking. You're really you're working to deeply understand and empathize with everybody on your team, from their own personal goals and objectives down to their strengths and maybe their insecurities and the places they want to grow. And then you're working with them really deeply and in a sustained, kind of caring, empathetic way to help them through that journey.